Right now there are more people on Facebook than there were on the planet 200 years ago. We share what we love, and this reminds us what we all have in common. This is changing the way the world works. And publishers are trying to keep up, and the industry is concerned. But the game has new rules. The next 6 minutes are an experiment, but in order for it to work, you have to pay attention. We all have those memories of gaming experiences in our childhood. Games like XCOM, Duke Nukem, Command & Conquer or Orion 2 are popping up in my mind. But back in 1994, I was like 12 years old. There was this one game called Jagged Alliance, and I remember how cool it was and how I played it over and over again. It was from Certec, a really small development studio in New York. It had a tactical and a strategic layer mixed with very cool RPG elements like micromanagement of your mercenaries. For me back then that was just like chess on a higher level. And with Deadly Games in 1996 we were able to play Jagged Alliance over our network, and we did it all day long, the whole holidays. 4 years later, in 1999, Certec Canada released Jagged Alliance 2, and this is and was my favorite game of all time. The amount of love for details in it is just mind-blowing insanity. Sadly, Certec in New York did go bankrupt in 1998, and the Canada Certec in, I believe, 2003. But this was not the end of Jagged Alliance. I think it is safe to say that Jagged Alliance has the greatest and most successful modding scene of all time in video game history. With mods like the famous 1.13 project, Jagged Alliance never gets old, and even after 13 years there are still new features coming. But over the years we had to witness several failed attempts of different studios in order to rebuild what Certec did in 1999. They took only 1 or 2 features from what made Jagged Alliance 2 so great and called it like Hybrid Guns and most recently Back in Action from Bit Composer. But they never understood what Jagged Alliance was about. No one did, and they wrestled the license basically to death. They implemented it in real time with pause gameplay. Nobody wanted. They ignored the community, and they even lied. They had no balls to trust in what the fans wanted. They only looked on stupid marketing reports. And because of the publishers like Bit Composer, something like the great humor of Jagged Alliance 2 would never ever come back, because someone could be offended by it, right?
Elliot, you idiot!
Even if Jagged Alliance isn't your favorite game, you know, the publishers, they have to mess everything up with this stupidity called streamlining. And guess what? Now, after the success of XCOM Enemy Unknown, the turn-based genre is suddenly back to life. Wow, what a surprise! So here we are. The license of Jagged Alliance is buried at Bit Composer, and no one thought that from here on anything positive could evolve. But winter is coming, baby. Never underestimate the north. Like Certec Canada, there is another northern developer called Full Control in Denmark. During the period where everybody gave a shit about the turn-based genre, they made turn-based games all day long. And in fact, they made only turn-based games. They recently made a turn-based game of the tabletop called Space Hulk in the Warhammer 40k universe. How awesome is that? Now, they managed to snap away the license of Jagged Alliance from Bit Composer in order to make one game. So I was just thinking, oh man, not another cash cow attempt from Bit Composer, please. But they announced a Kickstarter campaign to get the money for the pre-production which they normally would get from Bit Composer. So they said they wanna be independent from any publisher to make a true Jagged Alliance. They called it Jagged Alliance Flashback, and it is a prequel. And now the magic happens. They did basically everything right from here. They involved and listened to the community. They established a team of modders to develop the game as mod-friendly as possible. And they even hired Chris Campfield from the original Certec Canada team. I mean, what the fuck? But sadly, Full Control raised the money on Kickstarter to get the pre-production of the game started. This means there is not much to show. All we got so far are artworks, team videos and promises. But they showed gameplay from Space Hulk and it looked very good. But it seems like it is not enough for a Kickstarter campaign. That's why I made this video. It is a very short moment in time to show everybody what crowdfunding, an honest developer and the best modding scene I know can establish together. Now it is time to prove that their turn-based genre isn't dead. It is time to prove that we can trust honesty more than a stupid EA marketing campaign. Let us show that trusting the community isn't a bad thing. We have this opportunity only now, and there are not many days left. It's always been that the decisions made by the few with the power and the money dictated the priorities of the development, and now there's something bigger than that. It's turning the system upside down, and it changes everything. It is crowdfunding like on Kickstarter.com. So please help us to make the Kickstarter campaign of Jagged Alliance Flashback successfully funded. Even if you only pledge like $5, you get the Jagged Alliance Classic packet with Jagged Alliance 1, Daily Games and Jagged Alliance 2. And if Jagged Alliance isn't your game, please help to support another Kickstarter project. Thank you very much. Peace.
Pay attention here! Forget your sweeties, your mother, your country, and all the other horse crap. You got work to do.